getting to the level that Jay-Z reached requires you to be willing to do anything, whether it's screwing over other artists, threatening kids, stabbing another man in the stomach over a record, doing a world tour, a collab album with his ex-girlfriend's abuser, not paying co-founders like Nicki Minaj for promotion on his app, writing the business partners who made his career out of the company. Jay-Z's path is one that he started on 40 years ago when he was dealing crack to his own neighbors so he could buy luxury cars and jewelry. But ultimately, pointing out that Jay-Z is a controversial person is a lot harder than it is for P. Diddy or R. Kelly or anyone else, because he has done a lot. For those guys, the evil was always obvious. They were bad at hiding it. Everyone could tell. Jay-Z gets a lot more credit for being vastly better at making music and creating narratives, but ultimately, he still has that greed in common with them. It's easy to look at Diddy and Jay-Z and all of their mutual friends like Oprah and everybody else and feel like there's a conspiracy around them being in cahoots with each other. And that might be true, but ultimately what brings them all together is the love of money. They're an example of what happens when you're willing to do literally anything to push yourself forward. And so in the end, he isn't that different from someone like Diddy, who even before being arrested had an insane reputation of hurting, exploiting, and using everyone he worked with. Jay-Z is just much better at making music and creating narratives. But again, the truth is, it's simply a fact that in order to get anywhere near the level of fame and money that these people have achieved, you have to be ready and willing to do what Jay-Z did, and what Diddy did, or anybody else like them. And what they did is simple. They betrayed any sense of moral responsibility to be good towards others so they could get ahead. Jay-Z is no different than anyone else. There is no billionaire worth praising. But again, it's hard to completely condemn Jay-Z. He helped many people get out of prison, he has the cosign from Obama, and most of all, he's made a ton of music that people actually love. Jay-Z's public profile doesn't have a completely black and white bad legacy. And that's what makes it more complicated than just seeing an out-and-out monster when you look at someone like Diddy. He knows how to do enough good to look good enough. Still though, in a world where people like Diddy and R. Kelly and Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, and so many others are finally called out for being evil in private while they parade their success to the world, Jay-Z isn't far off from being right next to them. Unless, of course, he is literally right next to them. It's ultimately a classic example of separating art from the artist. You can listen to Jay-Z's music, a lot of the great music he made, and you can take away something from it for yourself. Because music can be a good source of motivation or a story, but you don't need to idolize the person behind it. You can appreciate the artistry while acknowledging someone's flaws. Jay-Z was once a kid from Brooklyn, hungry to make a name for himself and get out of a situation in life. He wanted to get something, and he got it. And then he got more, and more, and then more, until the person he became didn't have much in common with who he used to be, or really anyone else, as he became more and more elite and attached himself more to the capitalist system. But ultimately, Jay-Z's story is a reminder of human nature itself, because greed is a corrupting force that can turn even the best intentioned people into monsters. Plus, the reality of Jay-Z's character and life is bad enough without adding theories about the Illuminati or secret sex trafficking into the mix. And look, that stuff might be true too, but in the end, everything he's done in public is pretty serious anyway. All we can do as normal people who will never be billionaires, will never be A-listers, we can remember that these celebrities and entertainers are not our leaders, they're not our gods. They're always imperfect, sometimes evil individuals acting in their own best interest the same way we do in our own lives. If you're interested in more